Hi everyone, this is Dave from Geekanoids, and today I want to share with you my opinion and experience with this, the Herman Mirra 2 chair. Now, I already own the version 1 of this particular chair, which has actually served me extremely well for the past 8 or 9 years. It's been a great chair, and this new version has just got some very subtle improvements, some design changes as well. I'm going to show you those in detail, but before I do so, I want to just emphasise how important it is to have a really good chair. It's one of the best investments you can make. Now, these Herman Mirra chairs are not cheap. You know, you're paying a lot more for these than you would for maybe a standard office chair. Now, I want to share my experience with standard office chairs. I've bought many over the years, ranging from anything to about sort of £50 up to even about £200. And even at that price point, I've still found the ergonomics to only be mediocre. And I've also found that either the part of the chair's failed after a year, or it's become so uncomfortable after about a year that I've had to change it anyway. So I found myself on this cycle previously of actually replacing my main chair every year until I got that very first Herman Mirra chair, which, as I say, has lasted me 8 or 9 years. I still use it in the editing room, and it's in fact got nothing wrong with it to this day. But I had the opportunity to get in this one, the Mirra 2, and I really just wanted to share my experience with you. So before I show you some of the close-ups of the chair, let me just show you some of the features as I'm sitting in it. And let's start with the arms. So we've got an arm here, and these arms have actually got sort of multi-position adjustment on them. So we can actually rotate these to tow them in, and we can also tow them out as well, so we can change that adjustment. We can also push them outwards to make the actual chair wider, and this obviously works on both of the arms, so I can push them out to a wider position or pull them in. So lots and lots of adjustment there, and we can also push them forwards and backwards as well. And the adjustment I'm making there, you want to get the arms so that your shoulders and elbows, when they're resting on the arms, are in a more or less sort of vertical plane. So that's really important. And then of course we've also got a lever down here on the side of the arm, so we can adjust the height of the arms as well. So loads of adjustment on the arms, so that's really important. And now we've also got some adjustment down here as well. It's got like this flexy base to it, so you can adjust the depth of the seat as well. And we've got a little handle on the side, so we can pull this up or push it down. And the idea behind this particular section is to get roughly about 3 fingers between the front of the chair and the back of your knee. That's sort of the ideal position with those. And then, as with all chairs, you normally get height adjustment. So this has got height adjustment. If I just pull up on this lever, we can get it to go higher. So I'm in a real high position now, or indeed we can get it to go lower. And on the same side, if I just put it into the high position again so you can see this, on the same side we've got this tension adjuster on the side, and this is what actually makes it more resistant to going backwards and forwards. If this was very loose, the weight of me would just shoot the chair backwards. So I've got this tightened up a little bit, adjusted for my weight, and it just goes backwards and forwards really nicely. And I can control the amount of tilt that actually happens on the chair with these levers here. We've got a horizontal lever and a more upright lever. The more upright lever actually controls how far the chair actually tilts back. So now it'll tilt all the way back. I can go back into a really sort of relaxed position. If I put that lever up 1 notch, that restricts the amount of movement to roughly there, so I can't go back any further than this. And then if I adjust it to the real upright position, then I can't recline the chair at all. So this sort of really is very, very useful, so you can actually adjust how far the chair will recline back. So that's really important. And then there's also another adjustment here, and this one we can put up and down, and it allows you to actually adjust the tilt of the seat. So I can actually get the seat to tilt forwards or backwards. And the idea behind this one is if you're wanting to really lean over your keyboard or lean over your desk for a short period of time, you can actually tilt the whole sort of seat and base forwards and get that really sort of concentrated, more proactive sort of seating position for a little while, and then you can put it back into the normal position. So plenty of adjustment there. Now, one of the areas that I sometimes suffer with pain in my back is in this sort of lumbar region, and there is lumbar support on this chair as well. If I turn around completely, you'll see these two sort of levers here, and also this portion of the chair. Now I can move this up and down so that I can adjust it into the appropriate position for that sort of natural curve in my back, and then I can also turn these levers, which actually pushes the mesh out in the back of the chair to give me more lumbar support, or I can turn them the opposite way so that I get less lumbar support. Now I'll show you that again without me sitting in the chair, because it's very important you get to see this. So this is the area here that those levers actually affect, and if I give you a side-on view, I can move this up and down. So this is adjusting where the actual lumbar support is, and then I can actually push these in and out, and it affects the curve of this part of the chair. So this is the part that's moving in and out to give me more support in the lumbar region of my back. It is a superb chair, and some of the changes they made from the previous one is that on the version 1 of the Mirra chair, this back here did not have this sort of material cover over it. It was just sort of bare plastic. So what you could basically see is this sort of plastic material with no cover over it. So they've really improved how this feels on the back. Still plenty of breathability as well, so you've got plenty of ventilation through here, but it's just a big improvement. Another thing I noticed they changed is the curvature to the base seems to have changed a little bit, and there's more support around this front area. On the previous one it was still comfortable, but this didn't flex quite as much, so it got a little bit tough on the back of the legs from time to time. Another area they changed is also at the sides of the seat. This design aspect here has changed, and the way the arms actually operate. Very nice indeed. And also the base of the chair, sort of underneath all the workings, they redesigned that a little bit so it seems to collect less dust. In fact, one of the areas that did used to collect a lot of dust was in here, sort of in behind the base of the chair, but that's now see-through, so no dust collects there. So they've made some really good improvements there. With regards to the casters, they're very good as well, work extremely well on the floor, and we've got a really solid base to this. It's just so well designed and ultimately very comfortable indeed. Now, can I recommend spending this sort of money on a chair? Let me just come into view. Let's go down, there we go. Well, it's difficult to really say how much you should spend on a chair. Now, these Mirra chairs, and in fact most of the Herman Miller range, are what I would say to be premium chairs, and they come with a premium price. But from somebody who has actually experienced a lot of back pain, and believe me, I have really suffered with it, when I got that first Herman Miller chair, it really did improve things. And the way I look at it is, if you miss days off of work because of a bad back, then you're losing money, especially if you're self-employed like I am. So investing a good amount in a really good chair is a wise investment. You're investing in your well-being, and thus you will find you take less time out. And it also decreases fatigue as well. If you've got a really comfortable sitting position, then you really don't suffer as much. At the end of the day, you just feel as though you've got a little bit more energy left. And I really do rate these very highly. The amount of adjustment and the quality of the materials used, and the thought process and the research and development that's gone into really producing something that supports you well and in all the right places, I think is worth every penny. The overall feel I get from this chair is that yes, it is a lot of money, but it is really worth it. And it's just from past experience, I would much rather spend £500 upwards on a decent chair and do that once every 10 years than buy these cheaper chairs and not have as good a product, not have as good support, and have to change them on a yearly basis. Some of the chairs I've had before, I had one that was about £90, and after 6 months the base and the actual chair part actually detached from each other and ended up falling on the floor. So not only was that a really bad product, you could have ended up being injured if you were sitting on that chair when it actually came apart. That would have been terrible. So not a good experience with that. And then I've also had other chairs where they've been just so uncomfortable that I've had to keep getting up and not being able to concentrate on my work, especially around the sort of the lumbar region of the back. They've been so poorly designed. So anyway, in closing, this is the Herman Mirra Mirra 2 chair. I'll leave a link to their website in the video description. If you've got any questions about it, please do leave them in the comment section below. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching my video. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, there are 2 places you can find the subscribe button. On the main channel page, it's just up here in the top right hand corner. If you're on a video watch page, then you'll find it just underneath the video you've been watching. Click on the subscribe button and that means that you are now subscribed to the Geekanoids channel. But there is one more step you must take. Click on the little cog icon next to the subscribed button. Put a tick in the send me updates box and click save. Job done. Thank you very much for watching again. I'll see you next time.